Dreycanroc Hexoconaughtica Tettrin, Chapter 1. March 1st, 1981, in a New York run by the Iron Fists of a powerful family called the Welchester family. The Welchester family was founded in 1768 and took over New York in 1785. No one knows the source of their power, and miniseries claim they have a mysterious magical source that was given to them by a wizard. In an apartment was a man named Ryan Keller. He and his friend Wendy Minwell hung out there, playing video games, eating pizza, listening to music, and planning for protests. Wendy was a well-known protester who wanted the mistreated of New York to be treated fairly and wanted the power of the Welchester family to be decreased. Day goes by. There's all a flash to him. Ryan wakes up in the sewers of New York. Ryan was confused. He thought he was dead. After realizing that he survived, he goes looking for Wendy's body, only to discover that she didn't survive. Her body was recently beaten and her clothes were ripped by some of Richard Welchester's men. Her once beautiful face was now filled with nothing but bullet holes. Ryan collapses to his knees and holds her body. He was horrified at the state the body was in. He closes his eyes, then jolts his head up and screams. He didn't know why he survived, and she didn't. Was this some sick joke by whatever god was out there? He didn't know. But then he hears a sound. The sound of some sort of beeping noise. He gets up and follows the noise, coming across some sort of suitcase. Ryan opens the suitcase to see some sort of belt, but he also notices movement behind a crate that was next to the suitcase. So he goes over to the crate and looks behind it, finding these 4 small robot creatures. The small creatures looked scared as Ryan came closer and held his hand out. "Hey, it's okay. I won't hurt any of you. I just need to know what's going on," Ryan says as one of the creatures, some sort of cube, bounces over and jumps onto his hand and makes some beeping noise. "Huh? What are you?" Ryan says as his dice makes a few more beeps. "Tettrins. Huh. I haven't heard of that before," Ryan replies as another one of the Tettrins, an eagle, moves over to Ryan and hops on his shoulders. "Alright, I'll take you 4 and the suitcase home and hopefully I can get some answers," Ryan says as he picks up the other 2 Tettrins and the suitcase and goes back to his apartment. Once back, he sets the Tettrins down on the table in front of his couch and puts the suitcase and driver next to them. "Alrighty, so what are you Tettrins supposed to be and actually, wait, how can I even understand you since none of you can talk?" Ryan says as the dice Tettrin begins to explain through beeps. Ryan learns that they, the Tettrins, were failed experiments that were supposed to be robot pets that would have been integrated into society. Next, Ryan learns that after a Tettrin scans someone, the person they scanned is able to understand the noise they make. Then Ryan is given information about the belt, discovering that it was originally going to be for Richard Welchester, but he couldn't handle the power of it, so it was thrown out with the Tettrins. "I see," Ryan says as he picks up the belt from the suitcase, examining it and seeing some cards and some flash drives. "Huh? I wonder what these are," Ryan says as he holds up one of the flash drives, not noticing that the dice Tettrin's eyes are glowing. "Dice? You okay?" Ryan asks as he then notices a small light on the flash drive he was holding was flashing. "Maybe if I just..." Ryan then puts the flash drive next to the dice Tettrin and the flashing light stops. A few seconds later, the dice Tettrin's eyes go back to normal and start beeping. Ryan listens and discovers that the Tettrins can link up to these flash drives and can be used as weapons for Ryan to use in combat. Are you all sure you are okay with that?" Ryan asks, and the Tettrins nod. "Right, you say so," Ryan says as he pulls out the other 3 flash drives and links them up with the other 3 Tettrins. After this, Ryan now knew what to do, and it was to get revenge on Richard Welchester and the entirety of the Welchester family. In an alleyway, there were 2 of Richard's men harassing a group of New York's mistreated. Ryan slowly approaches from behind, morphs, and drop kicks the 2. 2 men were taken aback and they looked up at Ryan. "Boss? What the hell are you doing?" the man says. "Yeah, are you high or something?" the other guy asks as Ryan had his helmet open up to reveal Ryan. You're supposed to be dead," the other man yells. "Oh, I lived, bitch," Ryan replies as his helmet closes and he crushes the balls of the first guy with his foot. The other guy tries to get up and run off, but Ryan inserts a flash drive into his driver, and the dice Tettrin comes out, turning into a hand cannon, and Ryan uses it to blast the other guy away. "Who are you, mister?" one of the kids of the mistreated asks as Ryan turns to them. "I am Tettrin. My friend was killed by Richard Welchester, and I am here to make things right," Tettrin says. "Is there anything we can do to help?" one of the mistreated asks as Ryan looks over to the body of the guy he just blew away. "Could you help me with the two bodies?" Ryan asks. Later, one of Richard's men runs in. "Boss! Boss!" he yells as Richard gets out of his trophy room. "What? What is it? I was busy looking at my trophies," Richard exclaims. "Sir, two of our men have been found dead," the man exclaims as Richard looks at him. "What?" Richard replies with a slightly surprised face. "Our patrol officers found their bodies in a dumpster. One of them had their balls crushed and the other was shot in the back," the man says as Richard didn't know how to feel about this information. "That doesn't make any sense. Mistreat aren't allowed to have guns, and I doubt none of them are able to crush a man's nutsack," Richard says as he looks a bit panicked. Ryan went back to his apartment without being spotted, closed the door and unmorphs. "Man, I wasn't thinking I would have the strength to crush a man's nutsack and dick with my foot," Ryan says as he sits down on his couch and thinks about the events that happened. In the alleyway where Ryan killed two of Richard's men, an old woman walked by to see what happened. "What happened here?" Kelly asks as she puts down two large bags of food and water for the mistreated. The mistreated takes the bag and one of them answers her question. "There's some sort of, I don't know, some sort of armored man who referred to himself as Tettrin," the man replies. "Yeah, he also said, 'I am Tettrin. My friend was killed by Richard Welchester, and I am here to make things right,'" another one of the mistreated replied. Interesting," Kelly replies. Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, the brother of Wendy Minwell, Kyle Minwell, received the news of his sister's death. Kyle was not happy to hear about this, so he packed himself some supplies to go to New York to get his revenge. Dreycanroc, Hexoconaughtica, Tettrin, Chapter 2. Ryan wanted to go out, but he knew he would be caught considering he was supposed to be dead. But the Eagle Tettrin has an idea. Through beeping, Ryan discovers that the Eagle Tettrin can shapeshift into a parrot, but can also give its user a disguise. "Huh, good idea," Ryan says as the Eagle Tettrin hops on his right shoulder and changes, then giving Ryan a disguise in the form of a rich businessman. "Huh, not my style, but I dig the pants." Ryan shrugs as he takes his disguise briefcase and stores his driver and the other three Tettrins and goes out. Walks out to get some fresh air, but then he hears some commotion in the form of Wendy's brother Kyle fighting off some of Richard's men, killing a few of them. "Wait, is that Kyle?" Ryan thinks as he walks a little closer, peeking behind a wall. "Oh shit, it is!" Ryan thinks as he was surprised to see Kyle here since he left New York because of Richard's homophobia. Sadly, Kyle gets overwhelmed and is knocked out, being taken away to the Welchester mansion. "Oh shit!" Ryan exclaims as he was going to run off to save him, but decided to wait. He needed a plan first. Kyle was thrown into a prison in the underground section of the Welchester family mansion. "Hello, bag," Richard says as Kyle looks up to him. "Fuck you," Kyle says as he whimpers a bit from his left leg being a little broken. "We'll be joining your sister soon enough," Richard replies as he turns to leave, but then turns back to Kyle. "Oh, by the way, I enjoyed shooting the fuck out of your sister." Richard smirks as he walks away. Kyle was quiet. He was very upset, but also scared. He knew something bad would happen to him because he didn't think it would be death. But then he hears a crash down and sees a guard go flying. Kyle gets up and looks through the bars to see that the guard was sliced in half. Kyle then sees an armored man with some sort of sword and shield approaching as 5 guards follow him from behind. Kyle jolts backwards as Dreycanroc Tettrin turns around and blocks the shots with his shield, followed by him using 2 long blades to slice the guards into pieces. Dreycanroc Tettrin turns to Kyle, who was scared shitless. "Who are you?" Kyle said in a terrified voice as Dreycanroc Tettrin approached the cell, grabbing 2 of the bars and stretching them wide open, followed by him entering the cell and having his helmet come off. "Ryan? You're alive?" Kyle said as he jumped back. "Yes, I am," Ryan replies as he puts the long blades back on the Eagle Tettrin. But I thought you died, Kyle says as Ryan has his helmet come back on. So did I, but I somehow survived. And now, I'm on a mission to get revenge for what that Welchester bastard did to my friend. Ryan replies as he holds his hand out to Kyle. And because you are her brother, I believe you should help with the revenge. Ryan replies as Kyle takes his hand and gets up. I accept. Kyle replies as Ryan smiles. Good, replies. Now, I recommend you hold on to me tightly, Ryan says as he holds up the crab Tettrin. Why? Kyle asks as he does so. Because I'm getting us out of here, and it won't be a smooth ride. Ryan says. Wait, how are we even gonna... Before Kyle can finish his sentence, the Eagle Tettrin activates its boosters and Ryan and Kyle blast right out of there. Ryan using his shield to block Kyle from getting hit. Later, Richard had his men search all over New York for Dreycanroc, Tettrin, and Kyle. Excuse me, sir, one of Richard's men asks Mick and his employee Core. How can I help you, sir? Mick asks. Well, we are looking for an armored man who escaped with a convict. Have you happened to see them anywhere? Man asks. Sorry, I haven't. I was busy in the back of my store filming a movie, Mick replies. Was it a sequel to Space Vampires 2? One of the men asks. No, it was actually a sequel to the animatronic horror movie I made, but I do plan on making a third Space Vampires movie, Mick replies as the man who asked cheers. Well, it was nice speaking with you, sir, the man says as he and his group leave. Cor goes to the back door and opens it, letting Ryan and Kyle walk out. Thank you, Mick, Ryan replies as he unmorphs. Anytime, kiddo. Nice to know you're still alive. Mick replies, Huh. The bell kind of reminds me of this one series I used to watch when I was still in Japan. Cor says, Like? Ryan asks, I don't know. I think it was called Kamen Rider? Cor replies, Well, anyways, I think you two might need to get a new place, just in case, because someone tells me Richard might be getting suspicious. Mick comments. No, good idea, Ryan replies as the two take a shortcut to the alleyway to both hide and try and find somewhere to live. Back at the Welchester mansion, Richard was pissed off that the armored man was able to escape with Kyle. I can't believe I've lost more men to that armored man, Richard yells as he throws a wine glass at a wall, nearly hitting one of his men in the process. One of his men and a scientist were looking at each other in fear. They were scared of Richard's rage, but also the scientist was scared because he had some news that would put Richard in an even more worse mood. What do I tell him? The scientist whispers to the man. How should I bloody know? The man whispers back as Ryan clears his throat. Is there something you want to tell me? Richard asks as the scientist and man gulp. Well, sir, that new driver we've been working on was, well, the scientist was scared shitless. The armor man stole it, the scientist says as Richard walks over to him, places a hand on his shoulder, and then kicks him in the nuts, causing him to scream and fall over in pain as Richard was going to stomp down on his nuts again. But, the scientist shouts as Richard stops. But what? Richard asks. We secretly have another driver that is 85% complete, the scientist says as Richard calms down and helps the scientist up. I see. And when should this boat be done? Richard asks. It should be done in about a week, the scientist says as Richard smiles. It was 12:30 in the morning and Ryan and Kyle still couldn't find anywhere. God damn it, I'm so tired, Kyle replies as the two hide behind a large garbage bin. I really wish we found a place, Ryan replies as the two lean against the bin. But little did the two know that one of Richard's men found them and was about to shoot the two, but suddenly a noose descends from an abandoned building and it drops over the man's head and the noose is pulled up, causing the man to slowly get hanged as he gags. Ryan and Kyle jolt up and see the man get hanged. The noose then gets jolted up, causing the man's neck to get snapped. The man's corpse is dragged into the building by the rope. What the fuck just happened? Kyle replies. I don't know, but I'm scared. Ryan replies, Don't be. A voice says as the hooded figures from some abandoned buildings reveal themselves to be the mistreated of New York. Wait, I remember you all, Ryan replies. Yes, and you have inspired us to fight back against Richard's men, one of the mistreated says. Now, what's this about you not having anywhere to live? One of the mistreated asks. Well, we believe that Richard knows who I am, is looking for me and Kyle to try and kill us. Don't worry, we know where to take you. Another one of the mistreated replies as the group take Ryan and Kyle to some abandoned mall that the mistreated refitted into a safe haven for them. Welcome to the Safe Haven, a place for people like us and for people who are currently on Richard's shit list. One of the mystery replies. Ryan and Kyle are taken to the center of the Safe Haven where they are greeted by an old woman. Are you Dreycanroc or Tettrin? The old woman asks. Yes I am, Ryan replies. I heard about you after what you did to those two men, so I'm glad to finally meet you, the old woman replies. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you too, Ryan replies. My name is Kelly Manson, by the way, the old woman replies. Nice to know your name, Kelly, Ryan replies. Well, obviously you heard my name, and this guy next to me is Kyle, Ryan says as Kyle gives a small wave. Anyways, allow me to get you to a room, Kelly replies as she takes the two to get them a room. The two are given a room in the form of one of the many abandoned shops. Kyle lays down on one of the beds and passes out immediately. I don't blame you, Ryan replies as he collapses on the other bed in the room. The next day, Ryan gives Kyle a suitcase. What's this? Kyle asks. Well, when I was in the Welchester mansion trying to find you, I came across this lab and found this driver. Who needed it? Ryan replies as Kyle opens the suitcase to find the driver. Oh, hell yeah, Kyle says as he takes the driver and puts it on. Meanwhile, at the Welchester mansion, Richard was drinking a soda when his butler approached him. Sir Richard, the scientists have something they want to show you, Alan Wesker replies as Richard looks over to him. Richard and Alan go to the lab. Alright, what is this that you all want to show me? Richard asks in a non-enthused tone. Well, sir, while working on the emergency or energy for your driver, we discovered the energy can be used to alter people, the lead scientist says as Richard looks to him. Go on, Richard replies. We discovered it will work on both living and dead entities, the lead scientist says as he injects one of the men with a syringe filled with the energy. The man begins to shake and violently twitch as his teeth grow larger and deformed, and his muscles mass begins to swell. His IQ drops at a quick rate as he becomes more beastly and dangerous. After the change, the man is armored up. Impressive, Richard says as Alan was taken back. Now, you said this worked on dead bodies, right? Richard asks. Yeah, see? The lead scientist says as he points over to a few beasts that were transformed from Richard's dead men. Why? The lead scientist says as Richard evilly smirks at them. Oh, really? The lead scientist asks. Do I need to have you injected with the power and then replace you? Richard asks. On it, sir. The lead scientist replies as Richard's evil grin grows wider. Richard says. Ryan and Kyle get the news that there were beasts attacking New York, so Ryan and Kyle go back to see that there were in fact beasts. What the hell are those things? Kyle mutters. I don't know. Whoever they are, we need to defeat them. Ryan replies as he morphs. Alright, buddy, Kyle replies as he also morphs, finally becoming Dreycanroc Neon. Shit, this is sick, Kyle replies, and the two go on and fight. Ryan lends Kyle the Ego Tettrin and Crab Tettrin as the two fight three large beasts. Kyle notices one of the beasts had a sack that had some sort of bulky flash drive. Kyle jumps on top of the beast and grabs the sack, slitting the beast's throat with the two long blades provided by the Ego Tettrin. Ryan! Kyle yells as Ryan looks over. Yeah? Ryan says as he dodges an attack from one of the beasts. Catch! Kyle exclaims as he throws a bulky flash drive over at Ryan and he catches it. Huh. Might as well, Ryan says as he plugs in his driver and the electricity flows through his body. He groans in pain, then jolts up and screams as a large beam of black light shoots out of his visor. His suit colors go to a variety of reds and oranges, and the gold parts of his helmet come together to form a barrel. He roars, and then looks at the beasts. Damn, I feel so powerful, Ryan exclaims as the beasts roar at him. Alright, Kyle, back the fuck up, because I'm about to destroy some bitches. Ryan yells as Kyle backs off, and Ryan charges at the beast, summoning some sort of sword to tear and slash the beast down. He gave no mercy as he brutalized all of them, but there was one left. Its legs were brutally crushed, and it was crawling away whimpering. No, you don't. Ryan exclaims as he jumps in the air, and his head moves down onto his chest, and then the barrel on his helmet fires a large bolt of energy through the beast's head, obliterating it as Ryan lands on his feet. Hey, good job, Ryan, Kyle says as he puts his hand on Ryan's shoulder, and Ryan turns to him and snarls, causing Kyle to back away. Whoa, man, calm down, Kyle replies as Ryan snaps out of it and takes off the bulky flash drive and unmorphs out of the power-up form. Sorry, I just don't know what came over me, Ryan replies. It's alright, man, Kyle says as he opens his arm for a hug, Ryan hugging him back. Dreycanroc, Hexoconaughtica, Tettrin, Chapter 3. Back at the safe haven, Ryan recounted the events of him having the power-up. See, Billy says as she looks at the bulky flash drive. I wouldn't say get rid of it, but I would say to only use it when it's really necessary, Kelly says as Ryan nods. Besides, that wasn't the only thing I found, Kyle says as he holds up 4 dusty flash drives. You think it might be more Tettrins? Kyle asks. I mean, yeah, but it looks like they haven't been used in years. Ryan replies as the Eagle Tettrin flies to Kyle's shoulder and scans them, and flies over to a broken generator and squawks. What's he doing? Kelly asks. Kyle, can you hand me one of those flash drives? Ryan asks as Kyle hands him the flash drive he was holding. Ryan walks over to the broken generator and places the flash drive on top of the broken generator. The Eagle Tettrin hops off the broken generator as it and the flash drive glows, followed by an opening for the flash drive to appear on the broken generator. The flash drive inserts itself into the opening, and the broken generator flies up and transforms into a mechanical wolf, coming back down on his paws and howling. This took Ryan and many others aback. Is that a wolf? One of the mistreated exclaimed as the wolf walks up to Ryan and sniffs his hand, growling a little and then walking over to Kyle, sniffing his hand and then sitting down. Wolf Tettrin's tail wags slightly, a sign that it liked Kyle. Aw, he likes me, Kyle says as he kneels down and pets the Wolf Tettrin. Hey Kelly, are there any other pieces of old machinery lying around here? Ryan asks Kelly. Let me see. Kelly replies as she and a few other mistreated ones go looking, coming back with a washing machine, a car engine, and a kitchen sink. Ryan places the flash drives on the pieces of the machinery and they transform into 3 new Tettrins. Alright, guess we're even now, Kyle says as the gold Tettrin rubs against his right leg. Almost. You don't have a power-up form, Ryan chuckles. Well, when I do get one, hopefully it doesn't give me anger issues, Kyle shrugs. The two go out and continue to fight the mutated men of Richard and also rescue more of New York's mistreated. Richard was getting tired of him losing men, so he decided to just start over. And by start over, I mean he just wanted to nuke New York. He knew that this would go against the #1 rule of the Welchester family, which was to never abandon or destroy New York. Even his butler thought he was crazy for even thinking about this. But Richard didn't care. He just wanted to get rid of those pesky Dreycanrockers. So on that day, Richard came on live TV to announce that in 7 days, he would be nuking New York. He also said that for every mistreated found, the founder would be given 12 grand. Most people in New York didn't do this and in fact decided to try and either hide the mistreated or get them to the safe haven. But there were people who wanted the money, so there were many people who became spies and whistleblowers to try and capture the mistreated. There were even some people pretending to be part of the mistreated community. Most of them were found out by other mistreateds and to be fake and were jailed in the safe haven. Alright, we need to make a plan to figure out how to stop Richard from launching that nuke. Brian says as he and a few of the mistreated were coming up with a plan. How about we 3 go to Richard's place while the rest of you keep watch? Kelly replies as one of the mistreated nods, and Ryan, Kyle, and Kelly morph. But what they didn't know was there was a whistleblower disguised as a mistreated who saw all of this and left, taking a shortcut to the Welchester family mansion. He's who? Richard exclaims. Yes, sir. Van says as Richard was slightly scared. How? How did he survive being shot in the head? Richard mutters. Alan, I need you! Richard exclaims as Alan comes in. What is it, Sir Richard? Alan asks. So, remember that Ryan guy and his girlfriend I executed? Ryan asks Alan. I do believe so, yes, Alan replies. Well, that Ryan guy survived and is the armored man, Ryan replies. Alan was taken back, but he went back to being calm. You see, I have good news for you. Your driver has been finished, Alan replies as Richard smiles and he runs to the lab. But now? The man asks. You head back if you like. I need to go to my room and think. Alan says as the man shrugs and leaves to his house. Ryan, Kyle, and Kelly arrive at the family mansion and Ryan flies him and the other two up to the top of the mansion. A large balcony of the mansion that was holding multiple computers and the nuke. Alright, Kyle, Kelly, you two figure out how to disarm the nuke. Ryan says as Richard arrives at the top by an elevator. Hello, Ryan. I've been expecting you, Richard says as Ryan and the others turn to him. You, Ryan says as Richard walks out of the elevator and puts his driver on. Now, observe, Richard says as he morphs into Dreycanroc Welchester and charges at the three. Kelly runs to the computers to try and figure out how to disarm the nuke, all the while Ryan and Kyle hold off Richard. You know it was surprising to know that you survived. Had me terrified for a bit, Richard exclaims as he and Ryan were in a sword battle. How did you know it was me? Ryan exclaims as he holds him back with his sword. Let's just say I had some help from the inside. Richard grins as Ryan realizes what he meant. Damn it! Ryan growls as he kicks back Richard and slides back on his feet while dodging the attacks of Kyle. You will pay for killing my sister, Kyle exclaims as he starts shooting Richard with his bow. Richard dodges all of the arrows, but this allows Ryan to get a hit on him with his sword. As this happens, Kelly disables the nuke and the platform holding the nuke descends back into the secured vault of the mansion. We did it! Kyle exclaims as Ryan was holding Richard down. Alright, Richard, it's over. We stopped you from nuking New York. Ryan says as Richard chuckles. True, but you didn't stop my plan B, Richard exclaims. Wait, what did he just say? Kyle asks. Suddenly, the three hear something. The three look over to see that missiles have been launched from the mansion and they were heading to the safe haven. Kelly quickly gets in contact with the operators at the safe haven to warn them, but it was too late. All the missiles struck the building, causing it to explode. No! Ryan yells as Richard laughs. You bastard! Ryan yells as he morphs into his power form and slams his knee against Richard's crotch. Ugh! Richard blurts out as he is able to kick Ryan off. You will fucking pay! Ryan yells as Kyle and Kelly were shocked of what happened. You will fucking pay, you bastard! Ryan yells as the rage of his power-up takes him over and he lunges at Richard. The two fight sword by sword and soon hand by hand, but suddenly Richard starts to gain the upper hand as Ryan slowly starts to get weaker. His soul was starting to burn as his strength started to leave and he was breathing heavily. He tried to fight back but was getting his ass handed to him. Kyle, you need to help Ryan. I'll go back to the safe haven to find any survivors, Kelly says as Kyle nods and joins Ryan in fighting Richard. Soon, Ryan was too weak and he collapsed on his knees as Kyle and Richard fought. Oh, no, Ryan mutters as the soul burns more. I can't. I must. Ryan keeps muttering as he drops his sword and slowly falls to his knees as the soul burns more, getting closer and closer to being gone. Sorry, Wendy. Ryan cries softly. Sorry I failed you. Ryan whimpers as he fully collapses. I failed you. Ryan mutters as he closes his eyes slowly. But then the burning stops and his soul regenerates, causing his eyes to open. Huh? Ryan mutters as he looks up to see Wendy. Wendy? Ryan exclaims as Richard and Kyle look back at her in shock. Sis? Kyle exclaims, I will not let you fall. I will not let neither of you fall. You will succeed. Wendy says as she vanishes, and in her place, two glowing orbs appear. One goes into Ryan's power-up flash drive, while the other flies towards Richard and knocks him down, then flying above Kyle and turning into what looked like a Hot Wheel with a flash drive on the bottom. Kyle uses this new flash drive to power up as Ryan power up form is transformed. His once burning soul becomes an eternal soul. Nice power up, Kyle, Ryan says as he and Kyle stand together. Nice to have you back, friend, Kyle says as the two look at Richard, who was terrified. Shit. Richard says as Ryan and Kyle proceed to beat the shit out of Richard. Richard is able to get away, and Ryan, Kyle, and Kelly leave back to the destroyed safe haven. Dreycanroc, Hexoconaughtica, Tettrin, Chapter 4. Kyle and Kelly look for survivors as Ryan sits down on a piece of rubble. He takes off his helmet as he looks around the ruins of the safe haven. Men, women, children, even some babies were either badly injured or dead, crushed under the rubble of the ruined safe haven. What now? Kyle asks Kelly. I don't know. Don't know what to do now, Kelly says as Ryan looks up. Say we make a revolution, Ryan replies as everyone looks at him. What? Are you crazy? One of the mistreated replies. Ryan, even if we could, we don't have enough people to do so, Kyle replies. No, we can use the influence. We can get a broadcast to start a revolution, Ryan says as everyone looks at each other. No, we might as well give it a shot, Kelly says. I want to avenge my mom, Mistreated says. I want to avenge my dad, another Mistreated says. I want to avenge my family, another Mistreated said. Well then, start a revolution, Ryan exclaims as he puts his helmet back on. Later, Dr. Coffin was at his home watching TV. Then the channel he was watching gets hijacked. Dawkins says to himself as Dreycanroc Tettrin appears on screen, taking off his helmet and breathing in and out. Citizens of New York, the corruption must end, Ryan says. We must come together to stop the corruption and end the iron fist of the Welchester family. Ryan continues to speak. We aren't just doing this to stop the Welchester family, but to avenge the ones that we lost. The ones that we lost to the Welchester family, Ryan says as the broadcast was cut by the Welchester family supporters. Wait, what happened? Kyle says. Shit, Welchester supporters must have cut our broadcast, Ryan says as a group of mistreated were holding the entrance closed from the guards and the Welchester supporters from breaking in. But then gunshots were heard, followed by a light knock. Hello? Mick Cage exclaims from the outside. Mick? Ryan says as he goes over and opens the door to see Mick, Aiden, and several other citizens at the door. Got your broadcast and I sent out 4 to 5 more people to help with the revolution, Mick says. Long time no see, old friend, Aiden says to Kelly as she walks up to them. I wasn't expecting to see you around here, Kelly replies as through a hug. Alright, let's give them hell, Ryan says as everyone cheers and heads out to the streets. It was the new revolution versus the Welchester family guards and supporters. Both sides were fighting each other as our 3 Dreycanrockers made their way to the Welchester mansion. Hey, is it just me, or is the mansion looking slightly more ruined? Kyle asked. In the lab, Richard had overcharged all of the power and energy of the mansion's power source into his driver. Sir, what are you doing? One of the scientists exclaimed. I can't lose. I can't lose, Richard screams as he looks around. Where is Alan? Richard exclaims. Sir, he left, another scientist said, pissing off Richard even more. Oh, well, screw him, Richard says as sparks start flying from his driver. Ooh, it's complete, Richard says as he puts it on and forces a large surge of electricity and energy flows through him, causing him to scream and moan as he shoots up, splitting the mansion in half. Holy shit, Ryan yells as he, Kyle, and Kelly leap into the lab. Alrighty, what now? Kyle exclaims as Ryan locates the door that leads to the house's power source. Maybe if we destroy the power source, we can stop him, Ryan replies as the three run into the room, being shocked of what they saw. There was a red dragon, chained up and connected to all these tubes and wires. A dragon? Ryan mutters as the dragon's eyes open. Please, tell me, Dragon whimpered as Kyle went to shoot her. No, you don't have to destroy the machines. That's the only way I'll be set free, the dragon roars. It's okay, we got you, Ryan says as the three proceed to destroy the machines, stopping the power flow and killing the dragon. But it was too late. Richard had already fused all of the power, and he used the new power to have the ground under the three Dreycanrockers rise up to the sky, where he lands on it. He gets up and our three Dreycanrockers are shocked by his new appearance. His suit was all red and veiny, and had a red glow to it, and had the texture of flesh. Howard, my hands, I can kill all three of you, Richard exclaims. Ryan and Kyle send down all their Tettrins to help the revolution as the two power up. Well, let's test that out, Kyle exclaims as the three Dreycanrockers and Richard fight. But as they fight, Ryan discovers that Richard is absorbing every blast, making him even more powerful. Guys, he is absorbing our attacks. It's making him more powerful, Ryan exclaims as Richard grabs him by the neck. That's right, you blow, I suck, Richard laughs as he throws Ryan at Kelly, leaving him to face off against Kyle. I don't care what you can do. I'm still killing you for killing my sister, Kyle yells as he jumps and enters his final attack mode. Kyle, no! Ryan yells as Kyle blasts Richard, only for Richard to absorb the attack and blast Kyle back, sending Kyle to the ground, crashing next to Ryan. Kyle! Ryan exclaims as Kyle gets up shakily. It's alright, still alive. Somehow. Kyle groans as Richard smiles and prepares his final attack. Then, the dragon flies down from the sky and strikes Richard. You're back, Ryan exclaims. Wanted to thank you for freeing me, mortals. So we are here to fight for you, Dragon says. We? Kelly asks as a griffin and leviathan descends from the clouds and the dragon become these big Tettrins that fly down to the three. Three Tettrins each blast an orb to one of the three Dreycanrockers, the orb becoming a new power-up that plugs into their devices. You guys ready? Ryan asks. Yes, Kyle and Kelly respond as they activate their power-ups. Ryan combines with the Dragon Tettrin, Kyle combined with the Leviathan Tettrin, and Kelly combined with the Griffin Tettrin. Together, the three Dreycanrockers were fully powered up and ready to take on Richard. The three Dreycanrockers begin to fight Richard, delivering blow after blow. Richard absorbs their attacks, but starts to feel a bit unwell, as if the power was starting to become too much for him. Oh god, the power. It's too much. No, I can't handle it, Richard yells as he tries to throw a punch at Ryan, but Ryan dodges it as Richard's hand begins to swell. What the? Richard yells as the same happens to his other hand. A rapid power increase was starting to make him swell up. Holy crap, what's happening to him? Kyle exclaims. Must be absorbing too much power from our attacks, Kelly exclaims. Well, let's give him our all, Ryan exclaims as the three jump up and go into their final attack forms, followed by them blasting Richard. The more they blast, the more Richard looks less human and more like a gross, fleshy blob. Richard then falls off the floating island and onto the crater where his mansion used to be. Alright, let's finish him off once and for all, Ryan exclaims as the three land on the floating island and push it down, landing in on Richard and popping him like a gross and disgusting blood balloon. Everyone cheers as the three Dreycanrockers make it out of the destruction as any remaining Rochester family guards and supporters were arrested. Our three Dreycanrockers demorph and take a breath of relief. So, what now exactly? Kyle asks. Well, we rebuild this city, put it in a better place, and have everyone be treated equally. Ryan says with a smile. Dreycanroc, Hexoconaughtica, Tettrin. Chapter 5. Prologue. January 2nd, 2030, a man named Zach Roses enters New York from an investigation trip for investigation into an experiment from the defunct Area 52 military. The experiment was labeled as Experiment Binge/Ants. So, what exactly are we looking for? A soldier asks Zach. Clues, hints, anything that could relate to him. Zach says as the taxi he and a few soldiers were in suddenly stopped. Sir, are you okay? One of the soldiers asked the taxi driver, then looked at what the taxi driver was seeing and his eyes widened. Sir, the soldier says. Yes? Zach asks. Might want to see this, the soldier says as Zach gets out to take a look, followed by the other soldiers. One of them leaving a few $100s for the taxi driver and a coupon for some therapy. What they come across is a crowd of people around a hanging, mutilated body of a known sex offender that had a sign bolted into his chest saying, "Leave the damn kids alone or else." One of the soldiers takes some pictures as Zach starts asking people what they know about this. A mother told them that the man kidnapped her son, and when she chased after, she was met by a man in some sort of blue armor, hands and feet soaked in blood, and had some sort of axe chainsaw in one hand, and was holding the hand of her child in the other hand, followed by saying that the armored man gave her child and just vanished. I see, Zach says as he writes all this down. Thank you for your time, ma'am, and if you need any help with getting therapy for your child, we're happy to help, Zach replies. Thank you, kind sir, the mother says as Zach turns to one of the soldiers. Alright, Experiment Binge/Ants was here, but there isn't any information of where he went off to, Zach says. I'm going to send in the data we collected, and maybe it can help us find him, Zach replies, as one of the soldiers gulps. I just hope he's friendly, said one of the soldiers. As long as we aren't deplorables like this man who has the sign bolted into him, I think we'll be a-okay, Zach says as he heads back to the taxi. Hey, it's me, Kate. Okay, so this is the first time where I have made a video where I read a book and like make it as like an audio book you can listen to on YouTube. This is my first time doing this, and also when I read all of this I realized that there were a few mistakes I made when writing this book. Like there were a few things that I misspelled, or there are some things that I didn't mean to type, aka like there were some letters or like symbols that I typed into certain words or sentences, kind of messing things up. And also for me messing up some of the times of reading some of the words. Again, I'm sorry, this is my first time doing this, and trust me, I had multiple failed attempts, especially for the first 3 chapters. So yeah, you can actually buy the book at my merch store. It doesn't really cost that much, but yeah, you can buy the book if you want to. You can also read the first chapter for free on Wattpad. All of that will be in the link in the description. So yeah. Anyways, Dreycanroc Hexoconaughtica. Yeah, the next entry of the Dreycanroc Hexoconaughtica series will be coming soon. So yeah. Anyways, that was it for this video. Make sure you all subscribe and like for more, and I'll see you all later. Peace out, home guards, and goodbye.